Hey, it's Dave Campbell, another Dave Campbell short. I'm at the power plant in Antrim County in Elk Rapids here. And I was thinking about the turbines that spin in those generators, and that made me think about my spinning engine and what would be an advantage to having an engine architecture that used inertia like my spinning engine would and does. It's just a concept right now, but it's a needed concept. The idea of inertial power has a lot of applications, and the spinning engine has three separate inputs for energy, inertial being a primary, electrical being the secondary, and then gas or diesel fuel being the third. So it's an internal combustion engine. But when you have bodies in motion, it's stored energy. So think about an energy that's spinning in under your hood of your car. And instead of having to apply your foot to the gas, you just engage that inertial power and it gets your car moving. Think about a big ocean-going vessel with an engine so big that it's, 2 stories high. And it's typical architecture, right? It's a straight cylinder and crankshaft configuration. But those things are massive, and they churn that big propeller, and they use a lot of fuel. Imagine a spinning engine which uses less fuel, puts out a lot less carbon signature, and that can also run all of your deck machinery because it produces electricity. Can you see that? No? Let me try something else. Let's talk about an excavator. Let's talk about a track excavator with a spinning engine in it instead of conventional engine. Volvo makes a really good track excavator. Well, when you need to use that arm, what happens to your engine? It revs up, doesn't it? Well, imagine when you're just sticking that bucket into the earth or into your pile of aggregate, and you need that extra bit of RPM, right? Well, now you've got a inertial force coming from the weight of the engine blocks that helps spread out that need for the energy, right? So you're talking about reducing fuel consumption. So if you have 3 different sources of energy or the ability to produce torque, you've got an advantage for a myriad of applications where you need startup power, a lot of thrust, it's not a no-brainer, because you got to know a little bit about mechatronics, and I don't pretend to know much about mechatronics. I'm creative, but I do have an engineer, a reputable engineer, who signed a nicely crafted document that explains on paper how my spinning engine warrants further investigation, further research. So I'm putting that out there to the world. There's a lot of really good, interesting engine architectures out there that are not put into production yet. But I'm just going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge Elon Musk, and I'm going to challenge the Ford Motor Company. Anybody who's following on this electrical car architecture for transportation is really not using all the resources available to them as far as design and components that are readily available. And if you think about all of the systems, all of the support systems and the different charging stations, that have to be built to produce that electricity if our automobiles and other equipment are going to go electrical. And then you think about the carbon signature from all the extra coal plants that we have to fire up to get that electricity. You're talking about a huge problem long term. I know the electrical car sounds like an interesting thing, and it's spiking the IT bubble, isn't it? It's spiking the IT bubble, but it's not our best use of resources right now as a country in the United States and as a world. So that's why I'm pitching myself as a global thought leader. Because I am. And I'm going to challenge you people, you leaders who are pouring money into electrical cars, especially Ford. I think you know better. And making a commercial that says you embrace change. That might help your image in a short term, but it's kind of like the IT bubble market is leaning on poor Elon Musk, as their iconic, brain. It's feeding investment into IT to produce a mass frenzy on the stock market, and it's a shameful mess. So Ford, I hope that you hear this and give me a call. I've got a plan for how I want to get that engine into production in all major industries where it can be used. And what this means is it represents high-ticket investment, putting people to work, building plants, and so that's what our economy needs right now. It needs people to go to work, and we need to be building more new products. Tug engines for tug and barge systems, huge engines for vessels that go, from across the Atlantic and the Pacific, big trucks, big machinery, construction machinery, you name it, automobiles. The spinning engine has application for all that, and it will be the engine. It will be the precursor to the hydrocarbon engine age, or the hydrogen engine age, the hydrogen fuel cell engine. Okay, that's my prediction. Give me a call, 231-360-8704. My name's Dave Campbell, and I've got a plan.